All right, welcome back to the channel. This is kind of a different video than what we are used to doing, but we get so many comments about all the N54s I blew up, what happened, whose fault are they, what did I do, bad tuners, do I suck? It's kind of all the above, so I figured I'd kind of just make this short 5-minute video on what happened to all my N54s over the course of the season. The first N54 I had lasted in the car I would say 2 years. We call it Mitch's motor, and I don't remember why I had to do a motor swap in the first place to get to that motor, but we ended up buying an engine off Mitch when he wrecked his 1 Series. That one lasted 2 full seasons, and I beat the crap out of that. I was running 27 PSI. The car had no aero on it. It was gray and red for most of the time for that one. That was when we always kind of joked, junkyard N54s, they're the best. Spend $1,000, $800, and make almost 700 horsepower. It'll beat the crap out of it. Or great, I'll put 100 of these in my car before I ever build a motor or switch, right? They were so cheap. Gingerman this year, it sent a rod through the block. And I had David in the car with me, and we were like, oh crap, that didn't sound good, but we didn't think it was that bad. So I pulled off. I didn't think anything of it really. We're sitting there waiting for the tow, and the guy at Gingerman comes up and he's like, hey, I found half your block, the turn back. And I was like, haha, funny, what a joke. Didn't really think anything of it. But he was like, no, actually, it showed me a handful of parts, and I was like, oh shit. Yeah, that one sent a rod, split a piston in cylinder 5. Basically then the rod just spun around. It didn't spin a bearing or anything. We could still free spin the rod when it was attached to the crank, but it was kind of hooked and the piston was split in half, and yeah, that one was basically pretty destroyed. I got another junkyard motor. I paid $1,200 for it. Just pulled out that motor, swapped it in, took all of 1 day, I think. It wasn't very long. All new oil lines, but for the oil coolers, I put them through the ultrasonic cleaner and flushed them. And I did that because they were PWR, so they were really expensive oil coolers, and I was just being cheap. The oil coolers alone were basically the same amount that I paid for the engine. After that one ran for about a week and then spun a bearing. All right, so first lessons learned is you definitely need to change your oil cooler. Called PWR, they were like, you're an idiot. I was like, yep, I'm definitely an idiot. Just any little piece of debris comes loose, gets stuck, and you spin a crank and you're just game over. That motor lasted a week. That one was 100% my fault. That sucks. Lessons learned. It is what it is. Didn't learn my lesson, so I went back to a junkyard, got a new motor, but I paid a decent price for it. It was $1,500, $2,000. Because it came with a 90-day warranty, and I was like, well, at this rate, I'm not having good luck streaks, so let's do this. We get that motor. Immediately on disassembling, whenever I got a new motor, I would always just do rod bearings. So just take the pan off, inspect it, make sure it wasn't just a complete disaster, because it is a junkyard motor, so you never know what you're getting. King bearings, ARP rod bolts, took some caps off and saw that motor had already spun a bearing. So called the company, they were like, okay, sweet, we'll just refund you. Okay, whatever, lessons learned, throw that motor in the trash. Got another one with a warranty, did the same thing. Took the bottom end off, replaced rod bearings, slapped it all back together. That motor looked really good actually. And we went racing for, I think, 2 or 3 events with that motor. And then that one shit the bed. What happened on that one? Oh, I broke a piston in half again. Yeah, this time it was cylinder 2 though. So, yay, lucky me. That one shit the bed. Call the company. They're like, okay, since it's internal, we'll warranty it. All right, perfect. Going through the process with them, it was at I blew it up on the 60th day, we'll just say for that. So I had a 90-day warranty, and they played me. So they dragged their feet until it was the 89th day, and then they ghosted me. And I was like, I kept harassing. I was like, what's happening? They even sent me motors to pick out. I had shipped their motor back. They did an inspection. I shipped everything. They just dragged their feet, then ghosted me. And by that time, when I called Chase and tried to do a credit card chargeback or whatever, they were Chase was like, well, it's been 90 days, so sucks to be you. And I was like, sucks to be me. At that point, we were pretty frustrated, but I had a shit ton of motors just laying around, so we decided to just create a hybrid motor. I said, all right, fuck it. I'm just going to disassemble the motor 100%, send everything through the cleaner, all new parts. I had a good set of pistons, a good set of rods. David gave me a good crank. Everything's fine. The internals of these are good to well in the 700s. I wasn't gonna beat the crap out of it. I was only running like 18 PSI at the end of the year, which is like 550 horsepower maybe. Yeah, so that was the one we documented. We took our time, built the whole thing, thought we were doing a really good job, and obviously we forgot the top bolt in the tensioner for the Vanos chain. That rattled its way down, got stuck in the oil pump, and yeah, she grenaded. Of the 4 motors, 2 were definitely my fault. Sucks. Lesson number 2 is don't build motors at 3 a.m. Just go to sleep and wake up the next day. And yeah, we forgot to torque down 1 bolt, and that's all that it takes. I went 2 for 4, and then just 2 motors just happened to explode because of unforeseen issues. Junkyard motors, they were worn out, who knows what happened, but we are leaving the N54 platform. I think it's been like 6 motors in total, but this year was really rough. It was 4 motors alone, so I just can't take the mental health anymore. For everyone asking, if you have an N54 and you want to track it, go for it. I have a bunch of friends that have them. They're really badass. They make a shit ton of power. They held together really well. It's totally sweet. I just had a string of bad luck and then 2 that were my own faults. I would say definitely turn the power down. You don't need to make 700 horsepower. Like, there are plenty of fast cars out there that in our class, in track mod, in street mod, that, you know, are making in the mid 500s. Like, there's a lot more you can do to the car before just needing to make 700 horsepower. Yeah, at some point, like Jamie, right? Like, his car is very dialed, and now he's at the point where he's like, I have to add power. It's the last thing. So we're gonna take the S55 cooler, do that setup on his car, and then you can run an E92 M3 front radiator, which is like 30% larger basically. So now you're just in the point where, okay, I want this motor to live. The car needs to make more power. I need to handle that more power by not making it overheat. Yeah, there obviously comes a point where power is power and you want more of it. But I mean, look at me, I'm going down in power with the new motor, but hopefully up in reliability, and then just more driving. All right, so we'll wrap it up there. This is just me rambling, so I'm sure you're sick and tired of me now. But if you have any other questions you want me to cover, just shoot them down in the comments. We're always trying to reply to all the comments, and we'd love to hear from you guys. Until next time, guys, take care. Peace.